I'm Captain Hull with the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Legislation was recently passed which upgrades Missouri's child restraint law to include the use of booster seats. Senate Bill 872 went into effect on August 28, 2006 and requires children under the age of 8 to be in an appropriate child safety seat or booster seat unless they are 80 pounds or 4 foot 9 inches tall. The legislation received a lot of support from trauma doctors, nurses, firefighters, safe kids, and other safety advocates across the state. Many small children were being prematurely placed in safety belts when they turned 4 years old or outgrew their child safety seat. Research has proven that using belt positioning booster seats instead of seat belts alone reduces the risk of serious injury by almost 60% for kids 4 to 8 years old. A booster seat positions a child so that the lap and shoulder belt fits their body more like they fit an adult. Now let's take a look at the requirements for the law. Children less than 4 years old or less than 40 pounds must be in an appropriate child safety seat. There's really nothing new about this portion except there is also a weight requirement now. Children less than 4 years old or less than 40 pounds must be in an appropriate child safety seat. Children ages 4 through 7 who weigh at least 40 pounds must be in an appropriate child safety seat or booster seat unless they are 80 pounds or 4 foot 9 inches tall. This is the portion that has been added recently and requires the use of booster seats. Children ages 4 through 7, in other words, under 8 years of age, who weigh at least 40 pounds, must be in an appropriate child safety seat or booster seat unless they are 80 pounds or 4 foot 9 inches tall. As you can tell, there are several parts to this portion of the law. The child must be in a booster seat until they reach age 8 or 80 pounds or 4 foot 9 inches in height, whichever comes first. The law also allows for parents to keep children in a child safety seat for as long as the seat allows. That's why you see the wording, appropriate child safety seat or booster seat. Children 8 or over or weighing at least 80 pounds or at least 4 foot 9 inches tall are required to be secured by a safety belt or booster seat appropriate for that child. This portion allows children to graduate to the adult lap and shoulder belt at age 8 or 80 pounds or 4 foot 9 in height. Again, whichever comes first. The wording also allows parents to keep children in a booster seat until they reach a maximum weight and or height requirements suggested by the manufacturer. Some booster seats will accommodate a child up to 100 pounds. Safety belt and child safety seat use for children under age 16 is a primary enforcement law. This means that you can pull someone over for no other reason than safety belt or child restraint violation for children under 16 years of age. Violation of this law is an infraction with a fine of $50 and court costs. If the driver receives a citation for violating this law, there is provisions that require the judge to dismiss or withdraw the citation if they provide evidence that they have purchased a child safety seat or booster seat. Although that may be frustrating to you, the goal is to get more kids in booster seats. It is critical that we educate the public about the importance of this law in order to get more children in booster seats. We realize that this is going to be challenging to enforce. How do you gauge a child's height, weight, or age at roadside? Here are some tips that you might find helpful. Ask the child their age rather than asking the adult. See if the child sits properly in the vehicle seat. Is their back against the vehicle seat? Do their knees bend comfortably over the edge of the seat? Does the lap portion of the belt fit over the child's hips rather than their abdomen? Does the shoulder portion fit across the chest and not on the neck? If all these indicators are present, then the child is probably tall enough to wear an adult lap and shoulder belt. There are some exemptions to the law that you need to be aware of. We aren't necessarily promoting the use of exemptions. However, you do not want to penalize people in any of these situations. Booster seats are designed to be used with a combination lap and shoulder belt and should never be used with the lap belt only. There are just a few very expensive booster seats that allow the use of lap belt only, and these are not readily available. If the vehicle only has a lap belt, the law provides an exception to the booster seat use. The child will be allowed to ride in the back seat with the lap belt only when there are no other lap and shoulder belts available for use with the booster seat. When transporting children in the immediate family, and the family has more children than there are seating positions and safety belts, unbelted children must ride in the back seat unless the vehicle only has one seat, such as a pickup truck. This part of the law was modified to prohibit people from transporting groups of children that cannot be properly restrained, such as sports teams, etc. Public carriers for hire are exempt from the law. That would include taxi cabs, city buses, tour buses, etc. Daycares and churches, for example, would not be exempt because they are not in a business for transporting children for hire. The law also does not apply to children 4 years of age or older who are passengers on a school bus. It is important to remember that school buses are designed differently and are compartmentalized for purposes of safety. Vehicles used by daycare and churches would not meet the definition of school buses and would therefore not be exempt. As you are working with parents and caregivers to implement this law, please remember that this is your opportunity to educate them and improve safety for children in Missouri. There are a few safety tips that we would like you to consider and possibly pass along. It is recommended that children 12 and under ride properly restrained in the back seat. Transporting children safely in a child safety seat or booster seat can be a very complex issue. You may receive or encounter some very technical questions. In those instances, please refer parents and caregivers to child passenger safety technicians in your area. To locate a technician, please visit www.nhtsa.dot.gov or www.seatcheck.org. The objective is to keep our children safe. Missouri law requires all children under the age of 8 to be in an appropriate child safety seat or booster seat unless they are 80 pounds or 4 foot 9 inches tall.